There's been a recent outbreak of anti-Semitic attacks across all 5 boroughs. In Brooklyn, an attack on a Hasidic man was caught on video. We'll play that video for you now, and you can see the victim in the bottom right of your screen walking down the street, and then you see 4 men walking the street and then start to assault him. They knock him to the ground and they kick him. Now, you see him running away there. They got away with his cell phone. And the attack has not been labeled a hate crime because no anti-Semitic slurs were made during that attack. Police are calling it a random attack and robbery. And in New York City this year, anti-Semitic hate crimes are reportedly up 63% from 2018. Nationally, Anti-Defamation League statistics show anti-Semitic incidents were nearly at record highs. So to discuss these growing instances of hate crimes against Jews, we're joined by Bryan Leib from the Americans Against Anti-Semitism. Bryan, thank you for being with us. Firstly, why do you think we're seeing this rise?
You know, it could be a couple different things, but something that I find very interesting, Michelle, is that it's a tale of 60%. 60% increase in hate crimes 2018 over 2019. And also we have 60% of millennials in this country that don't know anything about the Holocaust or anything about Auschwitz. So it really comes down to, I think, a lack of education and also people that have hatred in their hearts for no reason.
All right, well, you're trying to get something done to address this. You have a big march planned for Sunday. Tell us about that and what you hope to accomplish with it.
Of course. So on Sunday, we're having a rally. We're expecting anywhere from 500 to 1,000 people outside City Hall Park. And we are calling on Jews and non-Jews, Americans, to stand united against the hatred of Jews. Anti-Semitism is not just a problem, Michelle, for Jewish people. It's an American problem. And we all need to take a real hard look at what's happening right now. The rally is bringing together, we have Jewish speakers, we have non-Jewish speakers, we have women, we have men, we have young, we have old. So it's a very inclusive rally that's being headlined by Dov Hikind, Mort Klein,
right,
and a couple other people.
Bryan, do you get the sense that there's more tolerance for anti-Semitism than there is for other kinds of racism and bigotry? Because it seems like you can get away with being anti-Semitic, but you can't get away with being racist against any other kind of minority.
Yeah, I mean, why is that? Why?
Well, firstly, do you think that there is that trend?
I think that's definitely something that's happening in this country right now. You see it when Mayor Bill de Blasio first made comments about the rise in hate crimes, and he wanted to very sharply blame it on its right-wing white supremacist. That's what's happening right now. All throughout the country right now, no one wants to talk about what's happening with the hatred of the Jewish people. The fact that we have members in Congress, we have local, state, and federal officials that haven't said a word, Michelle, about what's happening right now in New York is deplorable. It's disgusting. You need to step up and name it for what it is. It's anti-Semitism. It's the hatred of Jewish people. And again, that's not just a Jewish problem. That's an American problem.
You mentioned members of Congress, and of course there was that incident earlier this year where Congress failed to pass a resolution condemning anti-Semitism on its own. They felt that they needed to water it down with all forms of racism and bigotry. Do you really think that that trickles down to people and really has an impact?
That's a great question. It's a really good point. You're right. I mean, when at a federal level we're sending a message that anti-Semitism is bundled in with all this other forms of hatred, it's diminished. So we need to very clearly, again, say what anti-Semitism is and call it out for what it is. You're right. It's a good point.
But beyond the semantics, from an actual logistical law enforcement perspective, we're having ultra-Orthodox Jews attacked in the streets of Brooklyn. We're being hit with bricks, being chased down the street. I mean, there are a number of very disturbing instances. So what do you want to see being done about that?
Well, the governor recently announced, I think yesterday, that he's stepping up security training and patrol. So that's a very good step. But what I would like to see happen, I'd like to see our Mayor Bill de Blasio, who's been on a vacation running for president for the last how many months?
Well, he's realized that's not going to happen.
Now he's done, right? So how about he refocuses his efforts a little bit on what's happening right here in our own backyard? How about he calls a meeting for Monday and brings together every faith-based leader in this city right now from every religion and calls for unity? Why hasn't that happened? It's a lack of leadership.
Bryan, thank you so much. Bryan Leib from Americans Against Anti-Semitism.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Michelle.
it.